Hello, music fans. We made it to the last year of the 1970s in my series on my top 10 albums from every year in the 70s, and this video is 1979. I'm going to start it right off with my number 10 of the year, which is In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin, a hard rock album, their eighth and final album. Probably my least favorite Led Zeppelin album, to be honest, but they never made any albums that were straight up bad. It's just a bit more forgettable and less interesting to me than their prior work, but they're a great band, so it makes the list. Number 9 is Stormwatch by Jethro Tull. This is folk rock album, but it's got some of that progressive and hard rock influence in there. It's their 12th album. Not their best work, but definitely far from their worst. I'd probably rank it near the middle of their catalog. But they're still a great band, and it's a solid album to listen to, so it makes my list here for 1979. Number, what am I at? 9, 8. Number 8 is Regatta de Blanc by The Police. This is a new wave album. It's got some of the reggae rock in there and some post-punk influences. It's their second album. It opens with the hit song Message in a Bottle, which is a great song, my favorite on the album. My number 7 is Canto di Primavera by Banco del Mutuo Soccorso. This is progressive rock, the eighth album by this Italian band. Everything they've put out in the 70s is consistently great, so this makes the list for 1979. Number 6 is Platinum by Mike Oldfield. This is progressive rock, but he's bringing in a lot more pop influences here now. It's his 5th studio album. I don't like it as much as his first 4 albums, but it's still pretty good. Number 5 is Eve by the Alan Parsons Project. This is another progressive rock album where they're starting to bring in some pop influences. Around this time in 1979, the progressive rock bands were really changing their sound and bringing in a lot more pop, like they really had to. Alan Parsons Project also brought in some new wave influences on this album. This is their 4th album. Great work, great production as usual for this band. Number 4 is Evolution by Journey, a rock album. Their 5th album features the hit Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', which is a really catchy song. Really gotta love that. Na 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 part like that. That's just so catchy. And yeah, it's another band that kind of started out progressive rock and it's gone full on pop rock, like arena rock with like really catchy choruses and chants, which is pretty much what a lot of the stuff on this list is for this year. Number 3 is Monolith by Kansas, another one of these progressive rock bands that's going a little bit more towards the pop direction here. It's their 6th album. There's a lot of great progressive stuff on here though still, but also some really catchy, accessible pop, arena rock stuff, stuff that you can boogie to. But it's all great playing here. Number 2 is Cornerstone by Styx, another band that used to be kind of more progressive. This is more of a pop rock album. It's still got a bit of the progressive influences. It's their 9th album. I'd say this is a transitionary album where they started to emphasize the pop sound a bit more. You can definitely hear that in the big hit song from this album, which is Babe, which is really catchy and anthemic. And my number 1 album in 1979 is The Wall by Pink Floyd. Now this is a little bit more artistic than most of the albums that I talked about on this list. It's kind of like an art rock thing going on. It's like a rock opera. It's their 11th album. It's a double album, a concept album, and a rock opera all in one about a jaded rock star named Pink. And this may be the last like masterpiece album that Pink Floyd made, in my opinion. After this, they really go downhill. Some would say they went downhill even before this, which I kind of understand because the 3 albums that came before this were Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and Animals, which are great, probably what most people would consider their three best albums, or a lot of people, and even metal before Dark Side of the Moon is really great. So The Wall, they went less progressive. Roger Waters took more creative control, pretty much complete creative control. He had always kind of been the lyrics guy for the last several albums, but he really controlled the concept, controlled the lyrics. David Gilmour still plays some amazing guitar solos and contributes musically, but I think it was a bit more of a dictatorship at this point. But the music is still really good. It's really fun if you're into like musical theater and the rock and roll style of Pink Floyd and the bluesy guitar solo playing of David Gilmour. What's not to like here? It's very theatrical, very over the top. So some people might not like that, but I do. So The Wall is my number one of 1979. And that's it for my 10 favorite albums of 1979. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments. What do you think of this list? And I'm thinking I'll make a wrap-up video of this whole series that I did here, where I'll talk about my 25 favorite albums of the entire decade of the 70s, so you can kind of see me mention some of the albums that I mentioned in each of the videos, but kind of ranking them my top 25 of the decade. So stay tuned for that, and until then, peace out.